Time's been moving slowly, so we already in too deep. Can't get no sleep on each other, heavy teasing all day, and when the sun sets, you asking me to come through, kick it with you. Night turn to morning dew, then you feel it rushing and lose control. You don't wanna go slow, for sure. We both already know your place is my place now. My place is your place, let's face it. Baby, you know all the places. My place is your place. My place. Your place is my place. Just face it. No one knows my places like you do. Your places like I do. My place like you do. Baby, don't stop. Got the key to the lock. We in our own zone. Make yourself at home. Get to know mine on the inside. Can meet at yours next time. And you feel it rushing and lose control. You don't wanna go slow, for sure. We both already know your place is my place now. My place is your place, let's face it. Baby, you know all the places. My place is your place. Your place is my place. Just face it. No one knows my places like you do. Your places like I do. My place like you do.
It's dead as hell on YouTube. I ain't got no voice. No voice. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's dead as hell on YouTube. Dead. That's because they've been staying on hours and hours. Me yelling and screaming. Hey, Chief Jonesy.
Chief Morning Thunder, how you doing this grand?
I know. It's boring. I wasn't ready to go to sleep. And I thought somebody would be live. Chief and them came on. Got right off. I was looking at the conscious community. They crazy over there. They all falling apart. I don't know if they acting it out.
When the light shines, all the roaches have to scamper. You gotta look at it in that perspective too. They really don't know where to go, what to do, who to run to, who's telling the truth, who's a safe space to, you know what I'm saying, kind of congregate under, because the House of Consciousness, aka Sonnetter Studios Incorporated affiliations and whatever, that was the home base.
Mm.
And that's where everybody built their subsidiary platforms based on the affiliation with Sonnetter Studios. So, I mean, you just gotta, like I say, follow the money. You gotta follow the affiliation, which leads to the money, because clearly Sonnetter's getting paid. So clearly, anything brought to life through Sonnetter also is on that same track. You know what I'm saying, to getting paid.
Damn. I was shocked. No, I think it was Q Butter's channel. I was seeing Michi X up there. I was shocked. and it was like all of them was going in on him. Did you see that? Your mic muted, Chief Josie.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, Michi X's like stance and her, you know what I'm saying, her, you know what I'm saying, her, what how do I want to say it? Her grievances. That's the best word to kind of say. You know what I'm saying? But I'm all about lineage and loyalty to your bloodline. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
upon further research, regardless of the efforts and the zeal that you put behind what you say that you stand for, now there's somebody in your particular bloodline, the shit just hits home like Trump. You know what I'm saying? So when the
Yeah.
shit that happened to your family, it brings us another certain kind of, you know what I'm saying, in that part. You see what I'm saying? But due to your bloodline, you go back to the same entities that were fighting that don't want the truth to be spread. Cause Poland, we can trans and, you know what I'm saying, connect them back to the ish, you know what I'm saying, and the Slavic, which neither one of those Poland don't have the nigga in the best light and don't have the, you know what I'm saying, best history of us historically. Now you can try to remake and, you know what I'm saying, reinvent yourself now that your bloodline is on these American shores, but that's par for the course for every other stranger that comes up over here. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, she can have, I can take her shit with a grain of salt. Cause your daddy's a whole Polish man. And when you go into the name of some Krasinski or whatever the fuck it is, I'm sure it's some nefariousness. And so folks try to act like they super allied to hide, you know what I'm saying, some nefarious that their specific bloodline can be tied to. Like I said,
Mm.
especially when you're pushing the narrative that you're pushing that's low key a lie, with keeping us in this false misnomer status, calling it. But your bloodline would, you know what I'm saying, be involved in supporting that, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
you're not a Polish American, you're not a half Polish American. You want to try to cling to the biracial and black because you're part black and you married back black and got a black son and all this. That seems like you're trying to cling to that five drop kind of one drop rules to some extent. So, like I said, she can have her opinion. That's well and good. Yeah, for the grand scheme of things, for the effort, you know, so you bring some facts as far as the perspective that we supposed to look at it. But as far as your ultimate loyalty and allegiance to the cause, your bloodline would say differ, just cause it to be, you know what I'm saying, under some, you know what I'm saying, extra scrutiny.
Mm. Well, I mean, her mom is indigenous to the Americas. I mean, I'm surprised, and
That
she's
yeah.
very intelligent,
hmm
and I'm
But
surprised that
why but
she.
when that's like that, Sister Betty, my thing is, why do you gotta come under the moniker of Michi X? Let's get your real name. Put your real name. Stand on your bloodline. If your views and your efforts is, well, then we'll see how this bloodline has changed over the
But
ages. You see,
doesn't that X mean that she probably was formerly
wants to be ambiguous, racially ambiguous, and until somebody nails her down and make her stand on her bloodline, who her mom is, who her daddy is, how her daddy got over here from Poland, what year and what, you know what I'm saying, congressional, you know, then things were getting passed during that time frame, what acts was in Congress to allow Polish migrants to get over here to America. That'll be her daddy. I haven't heard of no royalty coming from nobody's Poland. So until those kind of facts are divulged, like we go back 2 and 3 generations on the record, then we start talking. That needs to be something that everybody else that wants to call themselves quote unquote speaking on our causes and the American Indian fucking, you know what I'm saying, situations. No.
but I always see her represent her indigenous side. I mean,
No,
I
she's never quoted nothing indigenous. She says black. That's her verbiage. She's never. Now
well, I mean, I'm
she
saying,
tries to claim her adjacency with her, you know what I'm saying? Well, like I said, but it hasn't been let out, it hasn't been put out there. It's
yeah,
all
but
alleged at this point.
she
Yeah.
okay, but all right, she's using black, but that's fine. She always stood by our community. From what I gather, I love her channel.
when you say that
Maybe.
you voting for what you when you saying that you voting for Donald Trump, see that'd be a clear saying conflict with her because she's against Sister Queen Angela Stanton King, who actually got some work and some progress and some tangibles out of former President Donald Trump. Michie X, she would be in direct, adversarial force to, Miss Angela Stanton King stances based on tangibles, based on record, based on laws, based on things put into action. You see what I'm saying? That affects more than 5 people that everybody want to try to nail them to the cross with.
Mm.
20,000, I think, is the number that she put on record in the last little video that she did. So, like I said, Michie X, okay, I can almost put her in the category of controlled opposition, just like the chick with the ADOS. Her daddy is Jewish of Jewish descent. You see what I'm saying? Now we already talk about these folks that can kind of cling or jump in and out of this mulatto kind of status, which give them, the coverage to move in different type of ways and speak on issues that they really wouldn't really be, included in. But since
But
we made this,
I don't see her like that.
yeah.
She don't her vibe is not like that. She's real and she is very down. I find her
Folks
to
that's
be
in tune, folks that's aligned with
hold
the
up.
indigenous people are talking about
I
getting our land back.
I find her to be very real. I'm serious. I do. I find her to be very real. I really like
I
her.
say passionate. I say passionate.
Yeah, I like her.
Man, hey,
And
she cool with it.
maybe, but hold up, bro. Maybe nobody never taught her or shared with her about the indigenous. Like she probably don't know. What if she don't know?
What right, but see, don't know you talking about our mama and our daddy. We know and she know her daddy is of Polish descent. She's never disseminated who her daddy is, how her daddy got
But
involved with her mama intimately to produce her. That story has never been laid out. When we doing our genealogy, them are the kind of stories and the kind of relations that we come across and the stories and the
maybe,
connections that we kind of
but
that's
may
never been so like it
hold up,
seems.
Sachi. I mean, Chief Jonesy. She probably never did her genealogy and was taught the way we understand it.
Okay, well, let's put this out as a public record. She needs to do some, some research. But like I said, based on her history with Aboriginal foundational Black American Angela Stanton King that supports the efforts of Donald Trump that's been slandered in the news, she would, like I said, she would disagree. And like I said, based on her bloodline, what was her? I'm gonna get that name. Give me a second, because I can open up another tab while I'm live and just get exactly what her last name. If she wants to hide behind X.
That's fine what
So
her last name
yeah,
is. I
yeah,
don't see
but
what the big deal is. She
well,
always
because the last name speaks to her. When we talk to ancestors, how these bloodlines and
but
how they
Chief
kind of
Jonesy, hold
are.
up. Hold
Yeah,
up, Chief Jonesy. Michi X, I don't care how you slice it. She works in our community. All her work is done in our community. And that's all I've ever seen her do was
but
work.
my only thing would be she
I
is
don't
in
care.
direct. Okay, well
No,
she's to
I
me. She
disagree. I disagree.
I'd have to delete her because she's in conflict with Angela Stan King, who's done more work in our community with speaking against abortion, opening up the centers for our ladies that are single mothers and have that choice. You know what I'm saying? She's doing work in the community that you can go see down in Atlanta. And Robert and Byron Donalds that supports Trump has also been down there. You know what I'm saying? Supporting her cause, her work. So
Okay.
okay, yeah, she
But
sounds good, and Michi X is a nice,
well,
clingy, clout
well,
chasing kind of lane.
hold up. Because I'm not gonna hold a segment downgrading this sister because
I'm
she
not
keep
I'm not downgrading at all. I said I
but
appreciate her points of
but
view. She,
but what I know, she does a lot of teaching about opening businesses and growing businesses. She does do work in the community. She got a whole website where you can sign up for her classes. So she do a lot of damn work, bruh. I like her and I respect her. All of us ain't gonna agree on the same things as far as religion wise, but Michi X does a lot of work in our community. That's all I ever seen her do is
yeah,
work in our community.
Okay.
No other
And
community.
like I said, a lot of agents have until we break down their bloodline.
That's the whole thing. Who is she working for in our community? That's the
Thank you,
point.
Sachi.
I never seen her. Um, I all I ever seen her do was work with people that have issues or have backgrounds, criminal backgrounds, women that have been molested. She does a lot of work. So if you call that agent work, then I guess I'm lost. I like her, and
I
I'm
mean,
not.
she cool. This
I'm
this what
not.
we saying, Sister Betty. We saw some agents. We saw her do some agent work, and we pointed out that whole thing she had with Angela Stanley was some agent shit. That's what
Thank
we
you.
saying.
I don't even know who that is.
See, and that's our point also exactly. Angela Stanton King has provided and been the fulcrum of some tangible policy, you know what I'm saying, initiative being put into law, you know what I'm saying, that affects 20,000 aboriginals of these United States of America. This is Angela Stanton King's work based on her story of being chained to a hospital bed because she was in a custody having to give birth.
Hmm.
So Angela Stanton King has put in work, been to the Oval House, been to the Oval Office, been to, you know what I'm saying, little business meetings and how to do the system, how Trump exposed Hillary Clinton that she does in the debates.
Okay. I don't know who she is,
All we
sweetheart.
saying, basically, what he trying to say is she worked for the Democrats. That's all.
Well, she certainly has her rights for which political party she wants to work with. I used to be a Democrat and I got the hell away from her. Maybe she's not at the point in her life where she's going to finally say, F these Democrats. Because I got to that point. I was a Democrat
Now she
until
gotta do her history, Sister Betty, because if she did her history like you did yours, if we get to Michi X's grandma, that's gonna take her way over in Europe somewhere in
uh,
2 generations.
but that's fine. But not all. Um, you have Republicans that are from Europe. You got Republicans that are from Europe.
And I wouldn't even put Democrat on her, but it's the shield and the false fight efforts that she puts forward and for the Aborigine of America, our land, and turning our land back to our name. You see what I'm saying? That's not nothing on her. It's all efforts to substantiate and suffice and benefit her. Yeah, oh, business, start a business, start a business. No, we get our land,
But
start our
what if
businesses on our land.
what
Then
if she doesn't know about us because
what?
all she ever learned probably was African American history. Maybe she don't know about what we know. Have you
Okay, well
went
then this would be an open invitation for Michi to come and join one of our Cuddy Uncuts in the morning, 6:30 a.m. in whatever time zone that she's in, or the various opportunities. Like she jumped on Sonetters. Since it was a big little conversation in the platform, we'll see if her efforts are genuine and she wants to indeed learn or edify herself on the real history and how that plays a part in what you're doing right now. We'll see, Sister Beth. I'll give her that benefit of the doubt based on how long she's been on
well,
YouTube. It's never.
have you went over there and respectfully invited her?
She's the invitation is now. Like I said, these inner zones have a very, you know what I'm saying, way of getting around. So the invitation is out now. So when she sees Cuddy Uncut Live, 6:30 a.m. at whatever various time zones
But
that you are in,
I
so
don't
that the
know. I don't.
invitation is good.
But do we know if she's even subscribed? I don't think she's
If
subscribed
she's
to
if
my
she's
channel.
not subscribed, Sister Betty, you know how YouTube works. Somebody that you know is gonna subscribe and they're gonna hear your name and they're gonna forward it to you, so the word is gonna get out. We're putting the invitation out on these inner zones to Michi X to come on and you know what I'm saying, edify herself if she really doesn't know, or show her true intent based on what our true struggle is of getting back a proper persona as people on the land, and based on 50% of her genealogy, she's off the land by 50%, but she's never speaking on the 50% that's on the land to justify her stance. So that with that being said, I just see it being sus her efforts and her attempts and her appearances on these different platforms, especially when she wants to go in adversarial force to Sister Angela Stanton King. That's it. Her works, not her publications and not her promotions and her work.
Well, I've never really seen her go on any other platforms other than her own. I was pretty shocked to see her on Q Butter's channel because she really doesn't frequent YouTube channels. I would love to have her over here, but I really don't know her that like that.
Mm.
But I enjoy watching her segments. You know, I don't like to beat people down, you know, not in that manner. I mean,
No, nobody beat her down. We just pointing out the obvious. You are
All
your
this bad stuff
bloodline,
he
but she
said, what
never
he say
spoke
he
on
well,
that. But
I've
she
only
has
I
a
enjoy her
loud voice,
content. She makes
and
all I
great content.
all I
I
ever
enjoy her
did see,
content and
all
what
I
she be
ever
doing. I know I want you guys say something good about it. We done said all this bad shit. I enjoy her content and what she be doing, and she's a great person to me.
yeah, me too.
yeah, she calls out and got her eye on the scammers like Jay Morrison and Dr. Bruce Watkins. Been calling them out for a minute. I've been following that kind of content, but that's like normal news.
Oh, I like her. I really do. I like her. I don't know her to say anything bad about her. You know, I when she was going on live, I go over there a lot, you know. I think she's very intelligent. You know, you guys, I just get tired of banging on.
Some
Um,
people be lost. Give her a chance to be lost.
Yeah, and give her a chance and an opportunity to come and get some proper information. Because, like I said, the inner zones in this YouTube streets are going to get you talking. So, one of Michi X hardened subscribers are going to catch this clip at some time in some form. So, we're going to put out the open invitation to Miss Righteous Michi X, that Sister Bathy has grace, her perception on, to come on over and let's talk about it like she, so openly did over at Signeters. So let's go into
but
the smaller
maybe,
grassroots to
maybe,
probably get some. Miss Beth, Sister Bethy, you want to give her all these benefits of the doubt. We know her name. Let's give her the opportunity. Because, like I said, when they get over here, they're not going to have that same energy about exposing who their royal family is, who their royal family is, over here on this land to be a spokesperson and our activists. That's our problem now. We have these folks that have these split allegiances, and we don't really know where they lie. They just talk good.
mm, well, I don't know, sweetheart. I've never heard or held a segment speaking down on the Aboriginal community.
No, she just overly promotes the black. And when she's only half, quote unquote, fake black, it seems, it seems,
I don't, I don't get that vibe from her though. I truly don't. I mean, I think she's very genuine.
mm-hmm. Okay,
I
well, the
do.
ignorance
That's
is
the
bliss
vibe.
sometimes.
That's the
Ignorance is
vibe.
bliss. So when Michi X stop referring to us as black and start for referring to us, this community, as American Indians, then I'll think different. But a lot of the Phil Scott, all the resident people that want to put this spell of black, when we speak in legal and land issues, we know that that's dead at law. So you coming in as a mulatto, a mestizo, but want to talk black issues when we know black puts us at a disadvantage when it comes to law and getting recognitions and things on this land as
Okay,
far as
Chief
business
Jonesy.
is concerned.
She probably doesn't know that though. She
Well,
probably
I'm gonna
doesn't
give,
know it.
let's give her ignorance. Let's give Michi X's ignorance on the issue the benefit. We'll say maybe she's ignorant on the issue at this time, 2023. Michi X is ignorant because she's a first generation mulatto, so she's ignorant of all this history
I'm
that she
not.
speaks of and
I.
stand on. I'm gonna give her
Okay.
the benefit of the doubt that she's ignorant.
I've literally seen her. I'm serious. This woman only works in our community. She does not go and work in other communities This is all her life has been.
We are. That's because her son was incarcerated to the system. That you know what I'm saying? So
Nah,
that's why she had to keep
nah,
feeling it. Dude, her
nah.
son just got released
She was
from a
doing
12 or
working.
14 year.
Uh-uh.
So she understands the misuse and the non justice in the justice system. That's only because it's close to home. But as the
She
as
was
as
in the.
the efforts of us as a whole, I just don't see it. Her son's out of jail now. She's got the clout and the donations to facilitate that. We got her story, how they did him and falsely imprisoned him. Then why are you against Trump? That's what he up against now. These trumped up charges that just get yourself convicted because the jury is super biased. But you, like I said, they get lost in the, you know what I'm saying, in the her form of the emotional trauma, getting folks attached to what she's saying. Well, no. So she's almost giving me opportunist.
Oh,
Uh,
oh well.
Chief Johnson. Chief Johnson, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would like to say something though. Just concerning Angela, the representative, where she did run for office here. She ran for the John Lewis seat in the 5th district here. There, Nikema Williams, she has that seat now. But Angela Stanton King, from what I know, she's always, to me, worked as a Republican. She probably was a Democrat at one time or when she was in prison and all that. She worked as a Republican. And she works now as a Republican. And she also works as an indigenous representative. And she made the keynote address, I think, here about 2 years ago during the election campaign with when Bush and Biden, not Bush and Biden, but Trump and Biden was running for election. She did the keynote address at the DeKalb County um, Republican Women's Convention. And she was always adamant about saying one thing, that her grandmother, and in fact, she said all her elders, but especially her grandmother, always told her that she was Cherokee Indian, and that many of us in this area here in Georgia was also Cherokee Indian.
Thank you.
And she made that comment and that statement even at their Republican Women's Convention. You see, and they accepted that. You know, we know there's a lot of people. You know, those 75 million people that they said that follow Trump. You know, that the registered, Trumpaholics, Trump addicts, Trump supporters, whatever they want to call it. We know that a majority of them know about the indigenous American Aborigines being here. And I do agree with you on the term use of the word black. But I think, too, our people have been so used to that word, you know, of saying black, so that when you say, I'm a
Right.
native black American or black Indian or something, you know, of that nature, it also it's something that, you know, it's like an aphrodisiac too to our people, but it draws them to their heritage. Now, don't get me wrong. I agree with you thoroughly that we should stop using that word. White, red, black, brown, yellow, and all of those are color codes that were brought in by colonization. Religious supremacy as well. The whole thing. All of that was used to make laws, rules, regulations, codes, and statutes to rule over us and keep us under control. Basically speaking, the police, the economics, the military, the social services, the corporations, the businesses, all of that. You know, like we know our inventions was touched. You know, under the color code, color, Negro, Black, African American, and all that. So I do agree with you on that, Chief Johnson. Um, we need to really educate our people about the dangers to us as people to continue to use the word black. At the same time, I'm also aware that when I'm on stage here with Sister Bessie and yourself and others, I'm speaking with some of the most educated and intelligent people in this country. A lot of our citizens do not have the background that you all have. But we're going through that now in the South, you know, where a lot of people, they know that, you know, our Indians, people know that they're American Indian, but they really don't know what to do about it. They want to do something about it, but they don't really know what to do about it. And so people come and take advantage of them in their ignorance, you know, and they start selling them these dreams. They start repeating what happened um, during the Jim Crow era, you know, the 1860s, 1950s, and 60s. And then we had all these other groups come out, you know, all the alphabet groups, y'all know the names, you know, the NAACP or NOI or Nation of Islam, Merge Science, whomever, you know, and I'm not hating on them either. I understand they were following their doctrines, their religion, their racial or foreign bloodlines, whatever they identified as. But people now knowing that there's been a great awakening. It's about it's in the middle of the swing now. There's been a great awakening among our population that we are indigenous, despite any admixtures, whether it's colored Europeans or Caucasian Anglo-Saxons or West Africans or Arab, Moor, Jew, Hebrew, Israelites, regardless of that, regardless of any intermixtures, people are realizing both in our community and outside of our community that yes, these people are what they're who they say they are. Especially if you can prove it, through your family generational lines or even from the area that you come from. So, like I said, I agree with you about us not using the word black, but for most of our people, that's the only term that they've heard for so long. And I'm not saying that we should keep using it ourselves because of that, but a lot of our people are being taken advantage of by American Indians and indigenous American Aborigines knowledge, culture, and our practices being given to them under the term of black or blackness. And that's all I want to say. Let's say for right now. Anyway.
Hey, Smoke.
Salute. Shout out to the channel, to the panel, and to the chat. Power to the motherfucking people.
What say you?
Yeah. Oh, and
y'all
appreciate you too. Appreciate you too, Sister Betty, for hosting these podcasts and these documentaries and all. Everybody needs this stuff. I post all your stuff on my Facebook sites, YouTube, and stuff like that. So appreciate you for doing the work you're doing. It's important. It's actually essential. We would not be able to move forward without it. And I'm not taking nothing away from anybody else, Dane Calloway or Caramel Owl or whoever else. But your work is essential and important too.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What say you, Smoke? Thank you, Kusa.
Smoke, see, I Smoke, bro, nigga, you held your own. I seen that bullshit that weak ass, not a coincidence, put up, you know what I'm saying, with that little shit based on, how they try to pervert, you know what I'm saying, the righteous efforts, but, you know what I'm saying, I would have disagreed with sharing it like that, because you already know how they like to pervert, not knowing that when we do these researches that, you know what I'm saying, Slavic people's pictures are, you know what I'm saying, chosen when they choose to upload it and make it digitally available. But I digress from that, family. But yeah, big ups and salute for that, you know what I'm saying, performance. I don't know, you know what I'm saying, in the name of the algorithm.
You talking about what was it? That genealogy report?
Yeah, how they try to, how they try to spin and try to pick some petty shit like that little picture that they perceive to probably be more, like you said, a mulatto, as to be somebody white. When like I said, my even grander point was that when these certain entities choose to make this kind of images available, that they choose their specific likenesses to be the ones personified when we choose to come to the place to start doing research. So I just seen that and just, you know what I'm saying, seen that was a farce. And, you know what I'm saying, just an attempt, you know what I'm saying, to negate the facts and the truth. But, you know what I'm saying, commend you on that, family.
Yeah, well, it's hard to combat believers, especially while they're in the house of belief, but, it is what it is, so my skin way thicker than that. But y'all brought up Michi X, bro. I fuck with Michi.
I do too. Like I said, to a certain extent, but I see Michi as a Native American. Period, point blank. So we give Native American talking points and how strong and the zeal that they feel according to our efforts and, you know what I'm saying, our issues with a grain of salt. That's all my point. She's, to me, when the ball breaks down, she's a Native American. So if we want to have Native Americans speaking and all that in our efforts and the energy of things, that's fine. But to me, Michi X personifies the Native American.
You mean like Tonto and Iron Eyes Cody type Native American, or
like the bloodline that results in the Native American, the mestizo, all spread around the world.
No, I don't see that.
Me either.
No,
I can't. I don't see that at all.
Like
I
I just
don't.
like I said, I don't see the allegiance to her Aboriginal mother, which we don't know who her name is or what family it came
She
from.
probably,
It's
like
in
I said, but
the,
Chief Jonesy, you gotta be real, bruh. She probably don't know like we know. Has anybody offered her or invited her? I never had the privilege to do so. I wish could bring her on my channel and vibe with her because she's very intelligent.
like I said, the invitation is open. Let's give her lack of information at this point. Let's give that the benefit. Now we're allowing her, we're inviting her, and we know how these YouTube streets. So if
That's
we now
not
know
an invite. I have to personally ask her. I don't invite like open the door on YouTube. I rather go to her channel and see how I could contact her by email,
or see if she or see
in
what
a
she if she would
professional.
subscribe to the same thing that Smoke Signal subscribe to, a genealogy research test to further edify her in things that she could, you know what I'm
Well,
saying, right now be, you
like
know
I
what I'm saying,
said,
ignorant of.
Chief Jonesy, I haven't had the honor or privilege to contact her directly and invite her to my channel. I would love to have that sister over here because she um um passes out a lot of information about building your business and things like that for our people and enhancing your business. And her segments are great. I mean, she's an excellent, you know,
I'm,
resource.
I'm not gonna
But
even cap. I actually, you know what I'm saying, considered like going and paying for, you know what I'm saying, her little class, her little course, because it did seem a little streamlined and less, you know what I'm saying, bullshit, you know what I'm saying, getting to the point and shit like that. So I can definitely give her credit on that. That ain't, I'm not, that's not what I'm questioning. The business mind, and you know what I'm saying, we got a lot of mindset, be savvy, business savvy people on our shores. I mean, that's, you know, we know that. So I'm not gonna speak,
okay,
you know what
but
I'm saying.
I'm not gonna go over. I don't approach people like that. I, you know, would rather have a respectful conversation with her. Maybe she do know about Aboriginal history, and she just choose to be who she is, which she has a right. But I would love to ask her professionally and say, "Hey, um, what ask her about her ancestry,
I
and
would, that'd be so far.
yeah, I would
That'll bridge so
love
many
to ask
gaps.
her, but as far she might just be comfortable in her zone on how she identifies. I don't go around and force people, to convert to what we know. I rather share it, and they either could accept it or reject it.
Or see how
Cause
she feels about the legal claims and the lawsuits that we got filed. See what her stance is on those type of issues.
well, once she learns what it's all about, you know, I don't like to knock somebody until you speak to them, because she probably never gave it a thought. You know, she probably never gave it a thought, and she's just being in her comfort zone. You know, I don't not associate with people because they're not an Aboriginal. I like people for who they are. You know what I mean? And I think she got a beautiful personality, and she's been hurt, you know, in her journeys in life, working on the radio station, and them dogging her out and shit. And she told the stories, and I felt her pain.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
Man, go. Ain't nothing wrong with trying to help that woman, but I'm just gonna say this: our sister says she a snake. Watch yourself.
You
Um,
couldn't be talking about. You couldn't be talking about the Queen Angela Stanton King. That just, you know,
That's
modern.
our sister, ain't
Oh,
it?
auntie. Yeah.
I don't know who she is or what state she's from, Angela
And
Stanton
that is
King.
down in Georgia. Sister Stan King is down in Georgia, and that'll be a more, I'd say, fruitful. you know what I'm saying, olive branch to reach out and, you know what I'm saying, since we don't know anything about her and she's of the Aboriginal community and movement, that'd be a more substantial reach out if, you know what I'm saying, there was some kind of, you know what I'm saying, ally that we're looking to be, you know what I'm saying, in the long run in our corner. That'd be Sister Angela Stanton King.
Mm,
In my humble, not humble, but confident opinion.
mm. Oh, we have to see. What say you, Smoke? What say you, Sachi?
I'll stick on my original statement. I fuck with Michi. I don't know
Me
what
too.
her and Angela Stan King beefing about. You know, I don't really get into the
Politics.
mitigating circumstances of their argument. So it just is what it is. I see both of them. I see both of them as sisters. So I
Hmm.
don't see Michi as half white because she don't push no white.
Agenda.
You're right. It's not a white agenda she pushing. Besides the fact
Because she
that
don't
she
gotta
goes,
address it because her name is Michi X. If she came and kept it
hold on,
100,
bro.
when she kept on these internet zones and
Hold
went by
on, bro.
Michi, whatever her real name is, and
But
first and
she
last,
did.
it
Are we?
Hold
I,
on. Hey man, it
yeah.
gets 4 people up here. Let's have a cordial conversation, bro. We ain't gotta box each other into each other's perspectives, bro. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it from how I see it. Whatever they beefing about, I don't know the mitigating circumstances of it, and I see both of them as sisters, right? I don't hear Angela Stanton King pushing a white agenda. I don't hear Michi pushing a white agenda, other than the fact that she claiming to be African American or black, which you know that's social conditioning. So the majority of niggas fall up under that category. So
well, that's connected to the CIA.
basically what you have to say is that you don't fuck with the majority of niggas, because the majority of niggas in the United States go under black and or African American, bro.
And that's what this energy is about. We're edifying, raising the frequency, raising the understanding, and raising the programming. Or we're breaking it. So like I said, for folks, if you are in ignorance, but did it seem like wants to be under the Democratic shield, pushing this black, 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 when American Indian gives you Trump card on the land. And Angela Stanton King works close proximity with the Trump card on the land. And has put forth tangible policy for this corporation in our favor. Michi X doesn't have that pull or that proximity at this point, but she does have proximity to what was his name with the not fucking around crew and all that shit. Even though that's kind of, you know what I'm saying, kind of swept under the rug and lost its oomph.
Well, let me ask you a question, because I like for this shit to be quantified. Is it possible to fall under the black identity and have a moderately successful life? Be
Yes.
honest.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it also possible to fall up under the Aboriginal identity and be fucked up out here?
Up until right now, I think, you know what I'm saying, based on the numbers game, I think that was the, you know what I'm saying, inherent barrier. But nowadays, with the numbers, you know what I'm saying, kind of what they like to play the numbers game, getting out of their quote unquote control or shepherdship, I mean, it could be reevaluated. That's what I'm saying.
Was that a yes or a
Anything
no?
possible.
Was that a yes
The
or a no?
jury's still out. The jury got to be still out because there's not enough
See,
information, you know what I'm saying, considered at this point. It's
Anything
a new day
possible,
and time.
George.
see what I'm getting at really, what I'm really getting at, bro, is there's no evidence to even support the idea of a nigga who claimed to be black to change his identity based on anything tangible. To me, it's just an idea. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's just it still exists in the ideal stage.
We are the currency, we are the energy. We give whatever moniker, misnomer, power depending on how we utilize it. Kind of like clothes and shoes. If we stop making black the Air Force One of how we categorize ourselves as organic people to the land, that's going to have a tsunami wave effect in the consciousness of people that either catch it today or catch it on the replay in a couple weeks.
So let me ask you another question then. When you identify as black, who is it that's holding you non-existent or less than a respectable citizen? Who's holding
That
that?
that code, that black code, when it's input in this matrix that we're in right now,
Who
that
enforces
code,
who enforces that code, brother?
whatever institution that you're putting in contracts and indulging in contracts with.
So
Everybody, hold
who
on. Everybody enforces their code because you taught their code from K through 12 education.
Okay, now here go another question then, right? If you being taught this code from your very inception, why would you accept it?
Cause you was unknowing of the fraud, bro. It
Wait,
wasn't what they say. It
hold
wasn't in
on.
full. It
Wait a minute.
wasn't full. It wasn't full information. So what they did have under contract, that contract when it's really pressed is under fraud. From its inception, 3 or 4 or 5 generations ago, when they instituted the birth certificate and that part of making your parents informants to you, unbeknownst to your mother that just brought you into life.
But see, if that's the explanation that you're trying to give to the average nigga on the street, he gonna look at you crazy, bro. First of all, you finna disrespect his mama, right? You got to this is what I don't like about this shit.
Well, then you missed the unbeknownst part, bro.
I thought we was gonna have a conversation.
Hold on.
This
speaks to the person on the street. They would be emotionally triggered, and they would miss that part called unbeknownst, being an informant on you generations ago. When you know that great grandma wasn't a really, you know what I'm saying, a scholar of the book, because the only thing that they really read was the Bible, going to church. So I said unbeknownst. So if you don't understand that word in the context, then yeah, you will be triggered as somebody that clings on the black and somebody's a direct attack on Big Mama. No, unbeknownst, under duress, under coercion.
See, I don't even, if I'm dealing with a nigga on the street, I'm gonna skip that part and take him straight to the land and tell him why they want him off the land. I'm gonna skip that verse. I'm gonna let him learn it and when they get a little deeper into the knowledge, because sometimes they're right there when you talking about nigga mama, they might turn them off.
Yeah, for the most part, it is gonna turn a nigga off. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, it's gonna turn a nigga off, right? It's hard for me to accept that shit, and I heard this shit down there every time a nigga bring up the law. Your mama wasn't an informant. Now, if I was to go to my mama and ask her, do you ever recall or recollect being an informant that you informed on me and made me, she gonna say, I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
And see that absolves her of what we know. That absolves her. And that right there absolves.
Hold up, Jonesy. Don't cut him off, sweetheart. Let him
I just want to deal with the logic of that statement, bro. Right? Because somebody who is an agent or an informant, that's what you call reaching an agreement, right? If like you say, I'm an FBI agent, I can't be an FBI agent and not know I'm a damn FBI agent. You see what I'm saying?
No, you could if you're reporting to a parent agency, you're not gonna not be an agent. You could be an affiliate. You could be a third party. You could be an FBI subcontractor, bro. So that goes to the point of unbeknownst. You don't know where.
Kindergarten stuff. This is third grade. You supposed to wait till they get to third grade and tell them that. You can't tell them that in kindergarten, man. They're gonna run off.
That's what I'm trying to say. See, it's like some of you niggas want to approach motherfuckers on the advanced college level. You see what I'm saying? You expect niggas to know what you know, and they ain't been digging into no information, bro. I guess you niggas trying to bypass meeting people where they at.
Our foundation is your genealogy. We stand first and foremost on your genealogy. Who is your mother and father? Who is your mother and father's mother and father? Who is your mother and father's mother and father? Mother and father. That's simple.
Hey, Jonesy, do me a favor, brother. Next time you go to the grocery store, spend about 10 minutes on the baby food aisle. You'll understand what we saying.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah, I'll be trying to wrap my mind around the information sometimes, but the law thing, that law shit, to me, it always goes back to some religious perspective, and I don't do deities, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it always goes back to respecting the nature of the elves or some old goofy spiritual shit that I can't really groove with because
it's Roman law.
Hold on, brother. See, you can't interrupt me before I get through because you won't get my full assessment of what I'm trying to relate to you. But go ahead. What you were saying?
I was saying, you speaking of Roman law, how we can't perceive it and shit like that because it's foreign. It's Roman law.
That's what I'm talking about. So why are we even obligated to conform to Roman law if we don't resonate with it?
Well,
Like,
we the referee, Smoke. We the referee that got to throw the flag on that play that you speaking of. We got to throw the flag on that play. We got to object because they work from a position of ignorance and presumption. So until we assert the flag as the authority, the referee, the judge, and on the play, then they not, you know what I'm saying, they're not obligated to even acknowledge it. You see, that's kind of how I'm looking at the situation as a whole. Like, we got to start throwing more flags on the play. Flag on the play.
Is that a one-way street or a two-way street? Like, if they're not inclined,
it's a two-way. It's a two-way street. They've been throwing flags on us and throwing us in jail since inception. We just ain't known about the other lane. We just been subservient to the status quo. But when we start throwing flags, our flags is going to Trump.
Hey, bro, did you get baptized or something? Because I'm really trying to have a conversation with you, but you over talking me like a motherfucker. Like, what's going on, bro? I'm being cordial as hell here, bro. Like,
I answered your question. I just said we gotta throw the flags on the play.
You can't say
get your pastor license.
Right. You can't say you answering my question and I have yet to ask the question. But let me attempt to do this again, bro, because I know you quick on the trigger, bro. Just do not brandish your weapon so quick, my nigga. Just let me get through the question. This shit pertinent to the conversation, bro, because I like well-rounded questions that generate well-rounded responses. So when you go back to this Roman law thing, you said they have no inclination to respect us as people. So as people, should we have inclination to respect them?
Either you're gonna play the game or you're not. If you're gonna play the game by their standards, using that terminology, my point puts us at a disadvantage according to their game. Now, when we talk about establishing our game, that's a whole new rules. But existing in the game, how it's run now, certain verbiage, you know what I'm saying, puts us at an automatic disadvantage before we even walk into the arena of, you know what I'm saying, a battle. And the astute on the other side of the table know this.
Yeah, that's a lot to meditate on. I consider that. I'll weigh it out in my mentals to see if it can become a workable model.
So are you insinuating that the term black makes the battlefield uneven to the people you fighting benefit?
It places us at an automatic disadvantage because if you look about that, they can see that status coming. So when you see a fake status, a fake play kind of coming, you know how to defend against it. Now, when you choose this other tactic strategy, aka, then that puts, you know what I'm saying, the other folks on more of a defense and a scramble defense at that because there's really no kind of contention or objection that they can, you know what I'm saying, present to what you're claiming.
Well, I have yet to see in my current reality someone who identifies as black and someone who identifies as anything else having separate issues as far as you know, pursuing their dreams or livelihoods or what have you. What I see, what I see in my actual reality is that the people who are black and the people who understand that you shouldn't identify as black are still having identical struggles, my nigga. That's what I'm seeing in my reality.
You're absolutely right. Because and I would say that comes from the conditioning that a certain group of people is, you know what I'm saying, going to be ultimately always in our corner based on the indoctrination. But we don't have a lot of people of our, you know what I'm saying, specific ilk speaking on our, you know what I'm saying, issues coming in under our designation to the fight. So when they put on the news, oh, you have to go to the Supreme Court, and then when you look in the background, the people that are coming under, they're coming under the misnomer or the term that you're using at law. You can't even find, but you want to find justice under a term that is not found in law or the ethical code that they go by. Ain't no code of ethics for black.
So are you saying that the whole reason we both share all these similar problems is because we under attack under the term black? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Right in your face, right up under your nose, but you in love with it. We're in a relationship, you know what I'm saying, with the term black.
So this would be my question. Were we under attack before we start identifying with the term black?
That's the only thing that we've known since, you know what I'm saying, grandma, mama, daddy. That's the only thing that they parents, you know what I'm saying, have, and that correlates to the school. You having to pass the grades, not get your ass whooped by bringing home A's and B's. But that correlated with, you know what I'm saying, getting a kind of degree in lies.
Was that a yes or a no?
It's kind of for translation, like they say.
We've been getting our ass whooped for a long time. We ain't been getting our ass whooped. We've been getting tricked and deceived for a long time with pencils and papers.
There you go, exactly.
But it's like all of these terms is part of the rocking to sleep. You get what I'm saying? Like you remember when your grandmama used to put you in a chair, in a rocking chair, and rock your ass? That's what they done did to us. We were all them different terms they done called us. Rocking to sleep, black part of it, African American part of it, Negro part of it, colored part of it too, Indian part of it too.
Okay, well, let me ask you an easier question. The people who are now identifying as black, what would you say? What would you say that they really are, and what would you say they should really identify as?
I think they should find out what they is, because black is a catch-all term. When you say black people, you're talking about Africans, Haitians, Jamaicans, Europeans, all of them different people. That's the whole problem with the term black. Black don't identify who this person with darker color hue skin is.
And it doesn't distinguish. American Indian, like they say, I refer to the movie White Boys Can't Jump. Everybody can't jump to American Indian claimant in lineage and bloodline. It just is, you know what I'm saying, proverbially impossible. And that's like I said, they keep it up because everybody around the world can just, oh, I'm black. And everybody got accepted. But you from somewhere that ain't ran into no atrocities, ain't dealt with nothing, ain't did no kind of movements. But you come over here, now you're black. And on the flip side, the same little Baltic states did the same thing. You get over in America, all you that wasn't considered white when y'all was across the water, y'all was fighting and warring. When y'all's little nations got the fuck over here in America, everybody white, everybody's ally. Yeah.
Well, here's what I see. I personally think that we should identify as who we truly are. Now, when they made this Constitution and they put Indian not taxed in there, they put that in there for a reason. And that's a fact. When you look back at who was the Indian at the time they put the Constitution together, it was our Indian chiefs. So And I really wrestled with this. I said, okay, at the time they made this constitution, for them to put Indian not taxed in there, um, who was the Indian at the time that they're speaking about? And when I look at all the lands in the South, and then you look at who had all the farms in the South, the Indians that during that time were not what we see today. And that's a fact.
What do you mean?
I don't the Indians that they display today on in the news media, and on
Absolutely,
TV,
absolutely.
um, those Indians were not farm owners or slave owners in the South. For
They're
what
still
we
not
see,
today.
right? So I wrestle with this, and I'm like, okay, is it possible that there was another set of Indians in the South that we don't know about? And I'm looking through all the southern states, okay, and I'm looking at northern states, and the Indians that they're displaying all today are not the Indians at the time that Constitution was made.
Yeah,
So it definitely doesn't apply to them. So
they're
it's
never,
us. It's definitely
they're,
us.
yeah, they're never. You see, once we understand that, like subconsciously, that they're never going to like explicitly, you know what I'm saying, admit to that part. But as we collectively know that point to be a fact, it gets that
Well, they
hits a
don't have
little
no
different.
choice.
Hey,
They don't have any choice but to admit to that part, Chief Jonesy, because of the simple fact the census sheets and the marriage certificates, death certificates, don't match the people that they're saying are the Indians today.
Right,
It's crazy.
I'm absolutely
hey,
agreeing. I'm absolutely agreeing with you, but they didn't expect for us to start putting this together in the way that you know what I'm saying. We're
Right,
collectively putting these things together to expose their lies, kind of by default. Because if we're not even
right.
on no attack, we just exposing our truth, and we're exposing our truth in the timeline in history. It's an
Mhm.
abject, you know what I'm saying, to what we've kind of been controlled and kind of programmed to accept and pass down to our kids. So
hey,
we killing two birds with one stone. Little do we know.
Right. So to answer Smoke's question, I think that we should be identifying as who we truly are. And
So,
that's
would that
just
be
it.
based on nationality or bloodline?
I have to say both, hon. Because if you're saying nationality, which is American, that's our nationality. You're saying bloodline, that's our tribes. Because tribes are bloodline. It's our bloodline. You agree? I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Yes, yes. And
I
so
don't
and
know.
then once you
What do
start
you think,
tracing that
Smoke?
bloodline, and then in the first and second generation, your bloodline is off the land. It comes from a whole different like historical energy and you know what I'm saying, modo operandi to get on this side. It like it's a little bit more different, but you're absolutely right. That's what we got to consider. Because the bloodline of the folks that's really not tied to them are the ones that's coming out against us, trying to force us into the colloquial, contemporary, out of Africa narrative by any means necessary, outside of facts and paperwork. And we know that this corporation does an amazing, you know what I'm saying, effort in the accounting department and the records department. That's what I've come to find out. This corporation does a damn good job in the accounting and records department.
I mean, it's not our word against theirs. They know who we are, and we know who we are. You know?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of stuck. I'm
Chief,
kind of
look,
stuck right there because the only indication of a tribe that I found in my bloodline is Chickasaw, and that's my granddaddy's mother. My granddaddy didn't identify as a Chickasaw. He identified as a Negro.
Because at that time, bro, the militias was out for Indians at that point, bro.
Smoke
Right.
City.
Oh, wait a minute,
Smoke
hold on.
City.
See now,
Hey,
this where I
Smoke.
find now this where it gets difficult for me.
The
If
whole,
y'all
the
saying
whole West Tennessee was Chickasaw.
I understand that, but I got
What
part
was
Texas
the
in I got part
what
Texas
was
in me too. But see, when
what
you
was the
say
what was
when
the
you
years, bro? What was the years of your great grandpa and your grandpa that you just spoke of? What was the years in between those two records?
now, hold on, let's focus, bro, because you said something that got to be addressed. You said it was problematic for niggas to claim Indian at a certain time in the annals of history. Now, if you saying that it was problematic for niggas to identify as what they truly were, then why is an effort being pushed to then again identify as Indian if we already see it in history that was problematic?
Well, the
Can you
problem
address
is
that,
with
Sister Betty? Okay.
let me
Yeah.
the problem is Smoke. The only time it was a problem when we identified and said that we were Indian is if we assimilated into the corporation. If when we were not part of the corporation, we were free Indians. But it was when we assimilated that we couldn't say who we were.
Does that still hold true to this very day?
It can't be no problem because we didn't get the option.
Well, I have to say today, no. And I say here's why. Because then they're gonna have to explain why men could change their sex and women can change their sex and be called something that they're not.
Yep.
They weren't
Trans.
born.
Yep.
So I would have to say these days when we're in a different era, in a different time, that it's okay now that we can identify who we are.
And also legally, you being an adult, you didn't get the option.
Right.
Okay,
Back
now
then we were
this
threatened. That's
this
true.
brings me to a whole nother question then. If someone is allowed to identify as something that they are absolutely not biologically, right? So we know naturally a boy cannot be a girl, but if you have been granted the authority to identify as a girl and you were biologically a male, do you still have rights?
Yeah, they do. They can get married. They now when they get married,
They got more
you
rights
can
than
put
you.
that spouse on medical benefits and everything like a marriage. Before it was before they allowed it to be a marriage. What was it? They called it a union, and then they changed it. Now it's literally a marriage.
So hold on, I want to get this straight. So,
hold on.
Hold on, Alabama. I just want to get this straight, bro. Then you can go in after this. If a male or a female can identify as the opposite gender and still have rights, why can't somebody just saying they black not have rights?
That's in this corporation. They can toe that line because they are the adjudicators and the magistrates
Set
when
up
these
like
things
that.
come up for opinions. And these things
It,
always come up for quote unquote opinions. So
it
then you
ain't
need a
about none of that,
majority.
man. Everything got rules. That's how the rules of that game, this corporation's blueprint of how they run their business is set up. When your ass in
Thank
the
you.
black category, this is how you
Thank
get
you.
treated.
One
Thank
more
you. And that's
question.
all I was that's all I was breaking down. And that's breaking down to the laws. There's a
one
black
more question.
code, and then
Hold
there's
on.
all other kind of races
Wait a
have an
minute.
ethical code that you can look up.
I got one more question then. Are you niggas in agreement with those particular rules? And I relinquish the flow.
I'm not. I am not. But
Hell no.
don't quickly forget, when have we ever had equal rights in this corporation? We never did. We've always
black
been,
people have never.
even if we weren't identifying as black and we identified as Indians, we still would be treated the same.
I
Indians don't
disagree.
have
They was respecting Indians
we don't
before.
Hey, Sister Betty, Grand Rising, real quick.
Because my great grandfather, hold on, sister, but let me tell you this: if they wouldn't
But Chief
respect him,
Jones, you gotta hold up, honey, because you keep cutting people off, baby. What I'm saying, and Ali Boumar was trying to get into. All I'm saying is, Indian or Negro, color, black, none of us with those identities have ever had first class rights. So
That's how
I
you. That's how they
disagree.
I
was able to
relinquish.
I
I
reclassify.
have to
relinquish.
Hey, Sister
disrespectfully
Betty,
disagree. But go ahead.
real quick, brother, real quick. Sister Betty, much love and respect to you first. Much respect to everybody on the panel and in the chat. I come to bring you that Trump smoke, but I don't want to do it tonight. I want to set up a debate. I want to set up a debate. You know, I don't debate, Sister Betty, but I want to debate. Should we be voting? And
Just say,
you willing to accept my
just say,
challenge?
OG, just say discussion. Just say intellectual discussion. Because that debate
I'm
term
not
is kind of,
scared.
you know what I'm saying? It's
She
kind of
been
getting a
asking
bad,
for a
you know what I'm
debate
saying?
lately. She been asking for
So,
a debate.
well, I'm
And
just
I
saying, like,
normally don't debate. I want
yeah,
to
that's
debate
what I'm
Sister
saying. So
Betty
we should
on.
give it a whole
She
new
think
energy.
we
It'll
should
be a
vote.
debate, but it'll be
She
a
think
high class,
she
you know
think
what I'm
Now,
saying?
she
It'll be a
should debate.
discussion amongst the
Jonesy,
masters.
you've been a triggered wild
Hold on.
Indian nigga.
She think we
But can
should
I
debate.
ask
She
one
thinks
question?
we should vote, and I think we shouldn't vote. So I
All
want to
right,
And
debate her on that
and
topic.
and
all right,
and
we'll debate.
big dog, I will transition by saying this because all of what and I'm not in disagreement with the statements that are being made, but the fallacy of the discussion. The basic fallacy of discussion is him raising that issue. Voting is a part of a continuous engagement of a criminal enterprise. So everything that's been set up until this point is operating within the fraud. Now, y'all may not have necessarily intended it to be that way because I wanted to circle back on. I was in a dead spot. So when I dropped out into the Michi X discussion, I wasn't quite sure where it was going at that time, but I presume it was about racial miscegenation. Was that, am I missing something on about this parentage issue? About the
I
so-called people
was,
that are hybrid
We,
or whatnot?
yeah,
I personally didn't have an issue with it. I think the only one who had an issue is Chief Jonesy. I love her. I think she's amazing, and you know, I
as,
don't.
Well, here's the
at that point,
here's
I
what
would
here's
agree.
my
I
God,
would say that Joyner,
Jonesy, you're going to have to allow people actually to be heard, okay? Because I brought it up to say something. Now, regardless of the individual, I don't care about pointing a name or a celebrity because that's typically what happens. People talk about people who are popular or celebrated. I'd like to address the issue in the example of marketing and advertising. These racially ambiguous people that are being pushed as an agenda throughout the society. Have y'all contemplated that? And what is the significance of it?
absolutely. Go. I think you need to kind of break it down some more, Alabama, on that point, because I was just kind of talking around. I wasn't that direct. I was just kind of talking around and alluding to that point right there. But please break it down some more.
And Sister Betty, I want to give you that smoke. I want to debate you because, like Alabama said, when we're voting, we're still participating in this illegal corporation that's here. That's saying we're okay with you governing us. And I want that
No,
smoke with anybody
but
that think voting is going to help us. Hold on, Chief. I want that smoke with anybody that thinks voting is going to help us.
and Sister Betty, I'll be right there on second hand for you, because the strategy in the voting would, to, you know what I'm saying, promote somebody that's gonna further expose what our sleepy, you know what I'm saying, our sleepy populace. We need that see it to believe it kind of energy. So with voting for Trump, I see him putting forward in the forefront in the news and in the media and exposing it to the inner zones, that further corruption that'll bring more of our people to kind of where we're at today. We just need him as a movement. He's a good piece on the game board for us right now, because he's about exposing the corruption. All of us are kind of in this sleepy, you know what I'm saying, cataracts on our eyes about the
Hey, that's
corruption
what
and
his
the.
mouth say, brother. But he haven't
Well, I mean,
exposed nothing.
that's
He
what some of
haven't
his
did nothing that
actions
the corporation haven't allowed him to do, sir.
Right,
So
but that's why
Big Dog.
and
Not
not
only would
one
I
of them has been
underscore
charged
that,
with a crime, sir. So
if you
that's alleged.
didn't hear Dave Chappelle's joke, the punchline of the joke was not only was he stunned that a wealthy billionaire white man would come out and say, this is rigged, it is corrupt, and I know because I have bought both sides of the aisle, and then goes back in the house and plays the game. This is the punchline of Dave Chappelle's joke. So whether you deceive yourself in thinking that any of these Caucasoid pale-skinned demons have anything but their personal
he's on my
interest
side,
at heart.
You said thank you.
But my only point is this. My only point is
I'm gonna raise my point.
Regardless, I'm not speaking for or against anyone's personal candidate or participating.
You actually are.
This thing.
You actually
what I'm talking about is the process itself and the actual crime. So for me, again, I'm not trying to tell people what to think. I'm only sharing a thought.
Well, you got to hear everybody else thought too, Alibaba. That ain't fair.
Say what?
You got to hear everybody else's side too. It's
no,
not
just Chief, I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying I did not get to even speak what I was bringing to the conversation. I told you I was in a dead spot, so I did not hear
Trump. Your story never changes. I got it down back, but go ahead, brother.
I can go chapter and verse into Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. That's not the point that I'm raising. The point that I am raising is the entire thing is corrupt and it is a crime. And the only crime victim, and I'm sure everyone on this panel knows what I mean when I say the American. There is only one. And until that American identity, status, and personhood is acknowledged and declared by the American, then the crime and all the criminals cannot be put under scrutiny, adjudication, or God forbid, execution. And I do mean that in every sense of the word.
And we're going to win that.
And figuratively. So we can't execute providing a solution to the situation when, as my simple bullet points are, identity crisis is a thing, identity theft is ongoing, and the agenda is to exterminate the nigga in America. To me, that's the simplest way I can state it.
All right, I can agree on that. Hold up, Josie.
Okay.
I can agree on that, Ali Bamu. I can. But guess what? We can't get our people to cooperate. So then what? Now what? We only get a few of us to declare being the American. We can't get everybody else. That's something we should be really balling on. We can't get it. Our people, even in this community that claims to be the American, a lot of us that are claiming to be American won't even declare it like it's supposed to be declared. So now what? We can't, at least the African Americans declare that they're African American, but we can't get everybody to fill out a fucking piece of paper and declare their identity, their true identity, even in our own Aboriginal American.
But see, we can make that simpler.
I ain't finished. So that's why I said I'm voting for Trump. There's a reason why I'm voting for him. Because I want the fucking borders closed. That's why I'm voting for Trump. I agree. Stop all this immigration, illegal immigration. That's what I want to stop. So those are my reasons for voting for Trump. And I can't get
we circle
Democrats
back
to close the gates. They never want to close the gates.
Well, I could also argue why the Republicans don't do it either, mainly on a business manner of the free and cheap labor. But can we circle back to the
Did he not try to put the wall up to stop all this illegal shit?
Actually, he didn't, but I don't want to go down the rabbit hole and show
really?
No, I would have to take time. Hold on, Jonesy.
Okay,
Come on, man. You got to stop doing that, bro. You got to stop doing that.
I don't know. So and school
It
me
would
on it.
take too much time for me to go in some factual numbers, and numbers are very difficult to be spoken over the airways. So what I'm saying to you is on the issue of
But
this
wait,
ambiguous state.
Ali Buma, we can't
Yes,
make a statement like that and not give no
it's
information on it.
easily for someone to look up and see how much wall has actually
Yeah,
been
but you
constructed.
I
come
said,
out
but
and
then you should have already
you
had
come
those
out and
numbers
speak.
before you came up.
Hold on, Ali Bamu, you come out and you lecture us, but you can't lecture us on something important like that. It was my understanding that they began the processes of putting the wall up, and then when Trump came in, the shit disappeared. I thought for sure that this man promoted stop the illegal immigration. That is illegal. So is that a lie now?
But
And if
if
it
you would
is,
focus on fact,
educate me.
okay. But you asked me now. Can I respond, Chief Morning Thunder?
Yeah, I'm relinquished.
There is one factual thing alone that everyone can Google and investigate. Stephen Bannon has been in jail and will go back to jail from doing the scam on fleecing people to raise money to build a wall that not a dime was spent on. And he did that under the auspices of people believing he was representing the president's agenda. That's only one example. The actual wall that was constructed did not come anywhere near what was campaigned on, and certainly was not paid for by Mexico. Now, I know you can clearly and quickly Google those facts and confirm or deny what I just stated. But I'm not concerned about them building a wall, because that's not what's going to stop immigration. That can be stopped through the ports. The vast majority of the actual immigration that's going on is coming through the shipping ports.
No,
And the airplanes can
that's even
also be
wrong.
closed.
You
Jonesy,
stopped the
come on, man.
immigration.
Jonesy,
Hold
Jonesy,
on. Let
brother.
this address it.
Come on
You
now, man. Please
you
stop doing
you
that, bro.
bro. You stopped the immigration by stopping the foreign aid.
Okay, Jonesy, that's your spin on it. Fine. I was answering Chief specifically on what is the actual ports and the portals of entry to this nation, Chief. Do you understand what I'm saying, Chief Morning Thunder? So people have the camera, the marketing, and the advertising focusing on a few people coming over through the Rio Grande who happen to have brown skin. And I'm sure you understand why that type of imagery and propaganda is being used by the media, because that is to stir and terrify Caucasian thinking, feeling, and white-minded people. Okay? But all of the actual, a majority of the illegal immigration is coming from Eastern Europe still.
And what I was going to say real quick, Alabama was right. They did let foreigners in. They just didn't. Trump didn't let people from shithole countries in, but he let other foreigners in. So
that's
you can't say
Nigeria. He was talking about scamming Nigeria.
Hold on, Chief Josie, relax, brother. You can't say that he didn't let immigrants in, because he did. He let his people in, who are immigrants.
But
and all these presidents have let
did they go
immigrants
through the
in.
process? Did they go through the process? Was it legal or illegal?
Illegal. Through the cartels, the MS-13, who is sponsoring the ones that's getting abducted in the African American
Hold on,
community.
Trump let his family members come through, or what's his
That was the Congress,
he
bro.
let a
That was
bunch of them
Congress
come
and
through.
business. His family, the Kennedys. Ain't nobody held the Kennedy's family. Hold on, ain't nobody.
Melania had an anchor baby in the White House. We all saw him grow up, and she brought her parents over here. The same thing they accused brown people south of the border of doing, right, Big Dog?
Yes, sir.
That's the only thing that they've ever done. When you do the research, so none of that they
that's
don't.
That's all we've been saying.
So now the nefarious. So now the deciding factor is the nefariousness of those said bloodlines who assimilated or came over, because all of them can be, you know what I'm saying, researched. How Trump family came over, how Biden's grandfather came over in a bow at the bottom of a boat by his own admission.
How the Fords, the Kennedys, what's the other ones?
Doesn't matter which one you name. DuPont, Vanderbilt, Morgan.
The Carnegies. Like I said, I got the book that
Rockefeller,
just
Rothschild,
covered.
et
These people
cetera,
Like
et
I
don't
said,
cetera,
I
et
got a
cetera.
new theory that the Jews was immigrating over here first before the recorded little transatlantic little slave trade, little story psyop got put out.
which
Because
brings me which
the
brings me
Jews
which
the
brings me to my
Jews, hold on. The Jews celebrated their 250th anniversary in 1905, right? With correspondence with those said little, you know what I'm saying, incoming and outgoing presidents, Roosevelt, and I think it was maybe Truman from the book that I got, you know what I'm saying, in the stash. So these folks was coming over, establishing what they call their quote unquote colonies, their colonial colony little settlements, you know what I'm saying? Setting up the usurpation efforts to come later on.
let
So
me
when you
let,
get the
let, let me
Hey,
explain
Smoke,
something.
real quick, Smoke. Sister Bethy, do you accept my challenge? Yes or no?
I told you 3 times. Go ahead, Smoke.
Yes.
Let me explain something to everybody within the reach of my voice, bro. Whether or not they say it's illegal or illegal, this immigration thing, the benefits, the minerals, the resources is coming off of a nigga's back, and it's coming out of a nigga's mouth, and it's coming off your plate. So
fact,
whether it's
fact,
illegal or illegal does not excuse the fact that it's gonna cost you, nigga. That's what it's gonna cost. It's not gonna cost Trump. It's not gonna
no,
cost the actual immigrants. It's not gonna cost the foreigners that's already here, nigga. It's gonna cost
yeah,
you. So
do 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 the,
in my
So,
opinion, immigration by whatever means is unlawful, my nigga. So I'm gonna
so
land right
smoke.
there.
So
period. Now
smoke. As
do
you
now,
said that, can I circle back to the ambiguous nature of racial miscegenation and what is the intent of that agenda? Now, Sister Bethy,
Alabama, are
did
you
you
talking
get a
about the
chance?
X's? Hold on, Alabama, are you talking about
Jonesy,
the X's of
Jonesy,
the world?
Jonesy? Come on,
I'm
man.
clarifying,
Please,
bro.
please, please, man.
Hold on, I'm
Stop,
clarifying on
stop,
your point.
Jonesy,
stop.
I'm
let's
saying,
wait.
are you speaking of the X?
Jonesy, I've asked nicely for you to stop. Now, Chief Bethy, did you
Damn.
go back and watch They Clone Tyrone again?
I did.
At the end, the white people with the afro, how did that hit you in the imagery of what I'm suggesting here as racial ambiguity? How did that strike you?
Well, it really didn't um strike me at all. Because like I said, I'm from the north and I'm very accustomed to being surrounded and 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 culturally connected with mulattoes. So that does not trouble me at all. I have mulattoes all through my family. So that kind of stuff, Ali Buma, it does not affect me. My family
Okay, do you
bloodline
remember the
is
tag?
my
Do
family
you remember the
bloodline.
tagline from the movie Assimilation versus Annihilation?
Mm.
And by the way, I might suggest that assimilation is annihilation.
Annihilation. Now, me and
I
Alabama
have
can
to
agree.
agree. I have to agree with that. Um, the problem that we have, the problem we have is we're in their colonies. We are literally as a people, we are in their colonies,
And
and
that's under false pretense, Sister Bethy. Would you agree?
right.
Okay.
I do agree, but we're so called in their colonies, and they're able to allow this immigration because it's in their they're letting them in their colonies. You get it what I'm saying?
But Chief,
Recruiting.
why I'm suggesting that Native American and the African American are two halves of the cohort to do our extermination and
Correct.
annihilation
I
through the
agree.
Agree.
I agree.
continuation
I
of
I
this
agree.
agree.
miscegenation.
I
I
agree.
agree.
I
That's a
agree.
good way. That's a good way to kind of break it down too.
I
I like
agree.
that.
I
I
agree.
agree.
I could truly agree with that.
It's
So
like
when
two. It's two.
whether
It's
they
like
are
two.
going to sue Dane or not, which to me is irrelevant, I hope they're arrogant in their ignorance to get before a bench or a jury to allege that our existence deprives them of rights. How can that be?
But
Have
we
you
need that.
seriously contemplated that? How
We,
can that be our mere existence, let alone that he is teaching it and you, Chief, are teaching us authenticated, verified, and documented truth that will reveal what about the native slash African American?
it's about Alabama. It's this how like they say what the devil means for bad. These motherfuckers are in reverse fashion going to give us the opportunity to present our facts unfiltered, uncensored. To you know what I'm saying, battle and answer to these allegations. This is exactly what they do. They sue our little people, sue for reverse discrimination for the black farmers allegedly, but we know how that go. But in other circumstances, it's like with the little Pittman girl from the Cosbys that got her little association or business that wants to try to do what they do for quote unquote black or people of color. They get those challenges in the courts. So if these motherfuckers and all their, you know what I'm saying, grandeur, false sense of grandeur, let them kind of. This is gonna be. They're gonna present their own stake in their own fucking coffin, because we know that Calloway is coming with the undisputed facts, with the records and the documentation, black and white, that these motherfuckers. That's the language that they speak and understand. So
So
let them do that. I fully substantiate and wait the day that they want to bring this in front of a magistrate. Because I ain't
so
gonna say judge.
Chief Morning Thunder, have you identified the specific clause or section of the UNDRIP and the ADRIP that speaks to colonization of culture? I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I think it's worded some variation
The
of
whole
that.
entire UNDRIP and ADRIP is in the lawsuit, word
No,
for
no, no.
word.
I get that, but hear what I'm asking. I'm talking about the specific, whether it's a clause, paragraph, or whatnot, that talks about the culture of an indigenous people being eradicated or them being prevented from such expression. That is part of the tortious injury that you have put forward with your lawsuit. You understand what I'm saying, Chief?
Yes.
Because we need to take that specific clause and put it before them, particularly these Pan-Boo-Boos. But now these are Native Americans are doing a very nefarious version of the same thing.
Now, Sister Betty, can I ask you a question? Do you got an idea of the timeline, kind of, or the kind of court schedule of Dan Calloway's same situation in your federal lawsuit? Because what I'm kind of just thinking about forward,
I
if
don't
he,
know.
if
I don't know about Dane's lawsuit.
okay,
And as
well,
far as mine, I don't even want to talk about the
okay,
specifics.
all right,
I
all
already
right, okay.
shared it online.
Okay,
I
like
did.
that could be a non-factor, but what I'm saying, when it comes down to it, however those chips fall as they may, you can use, you know what I'm saying, in hypothetical, you know what I'm saying, analysis, help hypothetically speaking, you could use Dane Calloway's findings or the opinion in Dane Calloway to justify, kind of add to, you know what I'm saying, the claims that you're making with the particular entities that are involved in Dane Calloway's, you know what I'm saying, situation. Because those are going to be the main entities that is going to be in opposition or in, you know what I'm saying, of the same claims that you're kind of making in your, you know what I'm saying, claim. So like the same claims are made, but in different kind of points of view because they're challenging what he's saying, and then on the other aspect, you're asserting the challenges that Dan Calloway is kind of making. It's kind of what I'm saying. So once if his goes forward first,
No, actually, our lawsuits are totally different from each other.
well, they're different in that aspect. But
And
once
and
Dan
and
Calloway, what I'm saying,
they
once
wasn't
Dan
suing
Calloway
them.
wins,
They brought actions
that
against him. Dane didn't file a lawsuit against him. They
right,
came after him with some
right, right.
bullshit.
So then once that gets thrown out, but like you said, with that bullshit, their lawsuit is going to be thrown out for the bullshit challenging his facts. But then if your situation kind of is based in whatever kind of direct or indirect fashion, those facts that he's presenting directly, you know what I'm saying, can be attached to the claims that you're making. You see what I'm saying?
No,
That's not
they
claims.
actually can't. My lawsuit is already filed.
But I'm
My
saying
lawsuit was
the people. I'm saying the people because they're going to attack him for claiming the people are who they are. You're making the claims based on the people or who they are, which is what those people are challenging Dane on. That's just how I'm looking at it. How the court, you know what I'm saying, look at the court perspective. I might be wrong, but you know what I'm saying, and it might be kind of temporal, but in how they do this little fake jurisdiction little game, I just see the
I just don't
avenue.
really want to talk about that
Okay, yeah, I understand that
tonight.
too. All right,
So,
that's
so
cool. That's
Sister
cool.
Okay,
Bethy,
thanks.
could I go back to why I brought up the point about racial miscegenation? And do
Take
you
the wheel,
understand what I'm
brother.
saying?
Take the wheel. You got it.
Do you understand what I meant about bringing the clause specific to how? By the way, I would draw the two together. Us being bleached out through inbreeding or whatever you want to call this, and that will also remove the authentic people who are the actual cultural expression of Aboriginal existence.
Well, that's
You
been
understand
going
what I'm
on for
saying?
years. I do. It's been going on for years. They've been doing that for
So
years.
the
And
Native American
The Jews
imposter
started it.
is doing that by claiming themselves to be indigenous now, recently, in particular with the reaction to the Pope going to Canada and referencing them as First Nations. And these Pamboo-boos who keep trying to stamp African on us to remove us from our inheritance. That's the way I'm proposing is the dilemma.
I agree. But see, I mean, first of all, are the Pan Africans even a corporation or are they set up as a corporation or are they just a group of Negroes running around claiming to
Now,
be
are you
from
saying Pan
Africa?
Africanism as a movement or as an
Yeah, that's
example like the
who.
Universal Negro Improvement Association of Marcus Garvey? I don't know that it's still in existence, but it was
But
a
they got affiliates,
501c3, and the Moorish Science Temple of America is currently a
correct?
501c3, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, but what I'm asking is like the House of Conscious, um, these brothers and sisters running around claiming to be African Americans. Are they a corporation or are they
No,
of some sort?
they're a conglomerate of folks.
Well, hold on, sir. Hold on. Technically, they are because of the all caps appellation. We are all perceived as a corporation through our birth certificate and our documents. But now, as far as them registering as, like for example, LLC or S corp, something like that,
And I think
is that what you're
those
asking?
wouldn't even be appellations, Alabama. Those would be trade names. Because the appellation ties to the land. The trade
Okay,
name is
so they're not. There
not.
is the African American community a 501c3?
What I know is
Is the
Now, the
House of
African
Conscience?
American, as
Are
he was
any of them
stating, the
people?
identity has
All
been
right, y'all not answering
trademarked.
my. You're not
But
Trademark.
answering my question. Okay? Are they a organization, or are they just a bunch of niggas running around saying we African?
That would be
but where is the African American organization that you're referencing?
Okay, I'm gonna say
the
this
African.
again.
It's yeah,
You have the Pan Boo Boo community. Are they a bunch of niggas just running around saying I'm African
yes,
American, or are
yes.
they literally a organization?
It's almost Sister Betty. It's almost yes and yes because they're ignorant in the aspect that they run around and
All right.
saying it.
Okay.
Then they're
So I
ignorant in
could
the
go
aspect
on the
because
Secretary of State site. No, wait. I could go on the Secretary of State site and find the African American
serial number.
organization.
Serial number. African American Incorporated. They're designated as a product, meat product, something that I kind of like
All right,
connected
I'm
to
not
being
talking
able to.
about. Okay,
Well, African
see,
American. I'm talking about
I
African
don't see.
American.
This is the problem with our people. Y'all don't listen. That's the problem. I'm not talking about the Chinese man that went and bought the African name. I'm saying Sinetter's community. Are they a registered community or just a
And
bunch of
and I
niggas?
was attempting to answer you, Chief Morning Thunder. The
It's just a yes
simplest
or no
answer is
question.
no. The
Thank you.
simplest
That's
answer
all I
is
needed to
no.
know.
But I'm asking you, what is an African American corporation as registered? Is what I'm hearing you say. I gather.
All I wanted to know if there was a organization like Tariq Nasheed's organization, like
Well, now,
the
that's interesting you brought that
NAACP.
example up. FBA is a trademark no different than African American, is it not?
Exactly. That's what I was just saying, Alabama. But that connection wasn't made. Like that's exactly what I was saying. Plus
Well,
the serial number.
I just, all right. I
And
guess,
unlike FBA, FBA has
I
kind of
guess because I
withdrawn.
thought when you hear the HOK, Sinet and Ups community, I just wanted to know if that was an organization.
No, that's a
But
platform
is
name.
it?
That's a
Okay, that's all I
you know.
But
wanted to know.
is it registered as a business as Sonetta Studios, or is House
The
of
House of
Consciousness
Conscience. Yeah, it
registered
probably could
as
be
a
both.
501c3 because they profess to be educational? For example,
You
with
already
Jabari's
know.
nonsense.
You
No,
got businesses. You got
again, if you don't research
subsidiaries.
it and look it up, but I'm trying to point this out to answer what she's asking, Jonesy. So is that what you're asking, Chief?
Yeah.
Sister Bethy, is that what you're asking? So if
No,
the
Yes.
House of
no,
Consciousness, say, for
no,
example, just hear me out. Let me finish just for a moment. Yeah.
no.
If
Hold
House of
on.
if House of Consciousness is claiming to be an educational entity, there is the prospect it could be a registered 501c3. Go ahead, Smoke.
The plain and simple fact is, them just a bunch of niggas who agree with the information that's being conveyed over there.
Thank you.
It's
So
just like,
Because
in
all
the
I was going to
in
say is you could bring a lawsuit against them. But because it's not an organization, it's just a bunch of niggas from the hood on YouTube. It's baseless. That's
Hold
all I
but
on,
was
what if
Sister
saying.
that's how
Bethy.
we think about it,
Sonetta
Sister Becky?
Studio. Hold on, Jonesy. Hold on. Sonetta Studios and Black News 102 or whatever he calls, those are businesses.
Yep,
And if
yep.
they are perpetuating the narrative of falsely identifying us, which is a fraud, correct? If that's what you were getting at as far as a litigant. Do you see what I'm saying, Sister Beth?
Yes, I do.
Then Sonetta Studios and Black News 102, which ironically, Black News, could be put and enjoined in a defamatory action. If that's what I'm hearing you say,
Absolutely.
sister.
Because
Yes.
it could be laid out as Sonetta Studios is a business platform with a business layout with affiliates, kind of like how Anheuser-Busch got Bud Light, Bud this and all that. Yes, they're gonna take even though it might be down the chain once this shit hits the fan, but the ultimate parent little platform, aka company that everybody else comes through, Dr. Mayad, Ankh, all the rest of them, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's just gonna be a matter of time. Probably not directly. That's the thing about this corporation layout and breakdown and how you can structure things. It's only a matter of time. And so that's why you see the efforts of Sonetta Studios to kind of do this effort of rebranding right now.
What say
okay,
you?
the likelihood of you being able to sue people who are regurgitating information from other sources is not high. It's
You
not
better
like
check out
it's
you
not.
better check out Fox News and that Dominion. It
Hang on,
depends on
Josie.
what
Let me finish. You gotta let people finish, Josie. Go ahead, Smoke.
Look, bro, it's like you trying to sue. It's like you trying to sue your third grade teacher. You feel what I'm saying? For like Alabama said, perpetuating a fallacy. Man, they only teaching what they've been taught, bro. You have to hold on,
if they liable, ignorance of the law is
Josie,
true.
hold on,
please,
man.
you
Look, bro,
got.
I don't know
I'm
I don't know who you be having
respect.
conversations with, but they must don't let you talk, my nigga. I don't mind letting you talk, but
Yeah.
it's like, let me talk, then you talk. Like, That's how we do
Yeah,
conversations. But
please stop
anyway,
pointing out like that.
if that's the case, you can sue anybody, bro. I don't think it's set up like that. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's set up to where you can just sue somebody for
But you can't.
regurgitating information that they're getting from other sources. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that simple. I think you're not gonna be able to point your finger at somebody and say, you've been teaching our people the wrong thing, but they really got that information from other, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, people can sue anybody.
Jonesy,
This is like a historical narrative that's being pushed here, and HOK is not responsible for that historical narrative, brother. It's just that simple.
I actually agree with you, Smoke. I do. That's why I was trying to find out if it was an educational business.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, Sister Bethy, on whether or not HOK and the debate league nonsense, if it's portrayed that way, and then they're charging, or are they raising donations? Now, I know you litigiously know the difference as far as litigation.
I don't think that they're a 501c3. So just based on what you said and what Smoke said, they're not a organization. They're just a YouTube platform, entertainment channel. That's it. And they have a right to do that because it's for entertainment purposes. You know what I mean?
But the question is that we're kind of going back and forth and dancing around is that if it's being pursued under international violations of law, whether or not UNDRIP or ADRIP is considered a law or a proclamation. Now, the actual laws that may be violated may go into the area of the Geneva Conventions, the Nuremberg trials. You feel what I'm saying, Sister Bethy? Is that how are a people being genocided?
And to Alabama's point, if we're claiming that the United States is committing a fraud with the lies, quote unquote, then the HOK and their affiliates with the some rhetoric that they're putting out, it could be associated with the fraud that we're speaking of in totality. So they're just a small, like I said,
but
subsidiary.
They're not an organization, and they have a right to come registered. On. Okay,
I don't know.
Chief Jonesy, they are not an educational institution. They are a YouTube entertaining platform. It does not apply to them.
No, it does not by any means.
And that's why you have those fair use clauses.
Real quick. You stepping on my toes. Look, even if you could go to the Geneva Conventions to push genocide, how do you convict a people of genociding themselves, brother? Like, it's still problematic no matter how
they're pushing the black narrative. What Alabama was speaking of, they're speaking to and pushing that false lie narrative, which is actually a crime against, you know what I'm saying, listed under the ADRIP.
Crime against who? Themselves, right? It's a crime against themselves, brothers.
Not if they're not claiming that, bro. That's why they're taking this stance that they're taking, because they clearly are, you know what I'm saying, distancing themselves from their time. That's why they're pushing a different narrative.
They have a right to freedom of speech.
Right. That's where you're gonna have your difficulty trying to prove a case, brother. You're gonna have difficulty trying to prove a case by ideology in an actual, identity. Ideology versus an identity, brother, is where you're gonna be. Is where it's gonna become.
That's when you present the fact.
I want you. Hold on. I know. Wait a minute. Besides y'all being emotionally attached to the scenario, think about it.
I like how y'all using my coin terms, bro. But go ahead.
Yeah, besides
Smoke, man, I propose something for
you can propose it. After I just get through dropping,
y'all gotta let each other talk. It's not fair. Every time Smoke talk, y'all cut him off.
No, I'm very triggered because I ask basic questions, right? I ask basic questions that kind of dispel the ideologies. I'm not an ideological ass nigga. I'm practical. I'm a realist. You know what I'm saying? I observe my reality and I'm trying to figure out ways to improve upon it. That's why I ask basic questions. I want one step at a time. You know
But
what I'm
what
saying?
was you answering, brother?
I
You
want to
done
make
lost what you was answering.
right. I don't want to do a whole huge leaps and bounds and forget a whole lot of shit and have to backtrack. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I ask basic questions based on logic, bro. You know what I'm saying? So when you introduce this type of question like Sister Betty did, can you sue these people? No, these your people. You can't sue your own people for genociding themselves. This shit
Bro,
not
you
gonna
can
work,
sue the
bro.
business. You can sue the corporation.
Okay, but they are not the corporation. That's the whole meeting.
Right.
It's the
You're
whole meat
suing the
potatoes.
entity. You're suing
Hold
the
on,
entity,
hold
not
on,
the person. That's
hold
where
on.
you get
Wait a
lost.
minute.
No, you can't.
You can't separate. You can
You
see
can't.
what kills me about you niggas is y'all can't separate y'all selves from the perspective that you garnered about the whole thing about what you learned or whatever. You know
Facts.
what I'm saying? Look, bro, you gotta know how to separate yourself from what
May
is.
may I speak now?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Okay. Under the Nuremberg Conventions, again, none of us have evidence nor proof that a single Jew was cooked in an oven. And I'm not saying that to be dismissive or denigrating. Okay. I'm saying that for a setup too. What evidence and proof do we have of federal, state, and local policies that not only participated in redlining, gentrification, bombing entire neighborhoods and communities, and actually underwriting and defending lynch mobs?
By
Now,
law.
Sister Betsy, I'm quite certain you have enough examples of evidence of these things, correct?
I do.
Right? Now, whether or not you submitted in your particular lawsuit, but you get the example that I make. I'm trying to answer Smoke's question of, is this an international claim and an international violation under the Nuremberg trials and the Geneva Conventions? That's a simple yes or no.
Are you accusing Sarnetta and them of that? Because I thought
Yeah,
this was based
yes,
No,
on the
I
truth.
no
yeah,
Smoke. I'm
yes,
answering your
Alabama.
question. Stop, Jonesy. Stop, Jonesy. Smoke. I'm just dealing directly with you and answering the question you asked about taking on an international claim. Is that? I don't want to
No,
misread or put words in your mouth. I'm
I'm not.
saying I want to address that point, and then we could proceed.
I'm not dealing with it. When did the international claim come to the table? That just got introduced to the discussion, brother. I thought we was talking about HOK. That's not an international.
Now, collaborators and conspirators, which would be like guards and other people who worked under color of law, which I think is another category in your lawsuit, right, good sister? That people who participate directly and indirectly, and I believe that's also written under one of those particular USCs, the United States Code, that you put within your lawsuit. It matters not whether they are official or unofficial. If they are continuing and spreading and perpetuating the ongoing fraud or the tortious injuries, Allah, it gives people the thought that they can take niggas, black, or Negro people and lynch, burn, bomb, and flood them. Are you following me now, Smoke?
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out what this got to do with the HOK because they don't support
I don't
lynching.
care who the collection, individuals, or group of people that we were talking about. I'm telling you that, and obviously you probably have to take some more time and go fully study what the sister's lawsuit has proposed, but I'm using these scenarios to explain to you how the evidence is overwhelming. The problem is the Negro, colored, black person is continuously deceived through their identity crisis, through the ongoing fraud, and them not declaring they are the American harmed by these injuries, which is what Sister Bethy has initiated. And I'm not trying to speak for you, Queen, my chief. Would that be close to the facts of the matter at hand?
No, because number one, we're not back in 1924 and we're not back in 1800. So suing on those grounds, old bombings that happened, is not going to work. We're not in that era, those era anymore. It's current, it's things that's going on currently.
Well, I
Okay.
could argue that Tulsa is unearthing bodies in a mass grave as we're speaking, and Viola Ford Fletcher is alive.
I
But
mean,
go ahead, my
I
queen.
mean,
Go ahead.
there is no statute of limitations on murder. I get that. I do. However, we're talking about current times within our lifetimes. Okay. We have not
Which is why I
identified
put the variations out
the
of gentrification, redlining, etc. But you got it, my sister.
again, the whole purpose of using colored Negro, uh, black, Indian, mulatto is to prove who we are, not because we're not using those identities today. We have not used the racial identity color since they changed it to Negro. We haven't used Negro since they changed it to black. However, our ancestors went through these time periods of their racial identities being changed from who they originally were. And we became those identities when we became part of this corporation. Prior to coming part of the corporation, we were copper colored. And then they took off the copper and made it color, just shortened it. What I'm saying is, I'm using those factors to help prove who we are. There's more, but I'm not going to indulge that, I'm not going to share that on YouTube. I don't share all my defenses, but those are prime factors to show that how we were changed and how we were forced to be those racial classifications.
Under
At the
duress.
time, right. At the time when they were doing the census sheets and putting B on them, which they're reconstructed census sheets, let's just put that out there. B, when they put it in the census sheet, that wasn't a racial classification. It was what color was your skin, basically. They wanted to know what color were the people living in this house, not what was the race of the people. The
He
race
was a
of the
bone.
people, the race of the people on the census sheets were at the bottom. We were classified as coloreds, but when they wrote B in the columns, that was just to determine our skin color. Black. What color were you? That's what the question was on the census sheet. It wasn't what's the race. So black was not a race used back in the 18 and 1700s for us. It was colors. B, and they need to go look at the census sheet. Column heading. What color are you? Black or white? If your skin was black, you got a B. If your skin was white, you got a W. So people need to go and read the column headings. Everybody mistaked it for race only because Ancestry's headings had their own fucking headings. And they need to be sued for that. I relinquish.
So, Chief, the compiling of these errors, because I agree with you that people will try. That's that bullshit comment made by Mitch McConnell that there's no slave alive after 150 years and there is no slave owner. But the condition of compounded detriment, just like compound interest when you are trying to make an investment or to profit off something, the same way that things positively compound, there is a negative compounding of the damage of being classified at all. And some of those things evolved into actual terrorism. The whole point that you made with that educator from the Pequot community was said dated to the 1600s. That's why I kept asking you, how could she say this comes from the 1600s forward? So when did the terror end on not being identified as an American Indian? I'd argue that it's still ongoing.
It is still ongoing.
Now, you say you think the climate makes it easier, but if this is compounded ignorance and confusion of us not being aware of who we are, and we continue to perpetually repeat something that has been imposed upon us through duress and coercion, whoever it was that said that earlier, those are the two fundamental bases of a fraud, and all fraud is compounding all criminal acts: burglary, theft, murder. All of that's exacerbated and magnified. So whether we draw on those historical errors of the certain acts that happen without, prosecution, adjudication, or execution, the way in which George Floyd has happened in the last recent 3 years is a continuation of the belief that that black body has no reason to exist and can be dealt with in such fact. That's a Nuremberg trial and a Geneva Convention violation on the international level.
I agree. So guys, this is great dialogue. And I mean, until we declare, like you said, Ali Bamo, I'm in agreement with that. Until we declare that we are the American, everything is moot. And it saddens me that so many of us in here understand and claim and stand on who we are, but why haven't so many of us declared it? It's mind-boggling to me. Literally, people that's on these panels every day have not declared their identity at all.
They don't be knowing. But I just came up on this information. This entity called the
Welcome,
National.
Michael.
It's called the National American Indian Records, right? And I think it was NAIRS. I don't know what the S means. Anyway, that physical site is in Lenexa, Kansas, right? I'm in Kansas City. So I live here my whole freaking life. I never knew that, this specific site was 20, 25 minutes away from, where my family's lived and, inhabited for the last 100 and probably 20 years, based on my great grandpa. But yeah, so they have our records. They're just waiting for us to come and claim it. Take our place in that little aspect of understanding, because they know who the fuck we are. But if they can convince us that there's somebody else, which, keeps us from, finding the records and the justification and the pedigree of who we really are, that's a part of the, global, play. But yes, the National American Indian Records is in Lenexa, Kansas. And then my daddy told me, he was like, shit, Lenexa is an Indian now. I'm like, damn, Pops, are you? Didn't know that. So then it would, make sense on another level, the synchronicity. Okay, boom. Lenexa, Kansas, boom. The National American Indian Records are, at this geographical location. There's no coincidence in that. But for anybody that got the time, whatever, Lenexa, Kansas, if you got, take it, because it's on the level of the National Archives, basically. So, that whole part. But just on the National American Indian Records aspect specifically and focus. So I can relinquish the mic on that part.
And on that note, I'm going to get out of here. I'm tired. I got to work. I got to hit the floor in 4 hours. So, listen, thanks everybody for coming out. This was great dialogue. It looks like 74% of the folks said that I should contact and invite Michi X. So I'm going to attempt to it. I can't, I don't know if she'll say yes. I don't know. I hope she does. But I'm not going to allow anyone to come on the panel to humiliate her or question
Not,
her. I'm just not going to allow it at
mm-mm.
all. I'm not going to allow. I'm actually going to ask her if she comes over here.
Just do an
I'm gonna-
interview.
Yeah, I'm just going to do an interview. I'm
Yeah,
not going to allow anyone to harass her or mistreat her. I'm not,
yeah.
because then people won't want to come back to my channel. But I'll make an attempt to ask her. I would love to have her over. But on that note, you guys, I love you guys. Cuddy will be on in the
Much
morning.
love. See you.
I was
Have a
about to
good
say,
night.
I was like about to say, shit, brother, you know you're gonna be in the, you know you're gonna be in the room as soon as Cuddy goes live.
Yeah, well, I like to listen to him while I'm working. So
me,
I'm gonna
me
get
too.
out of
That's
here.
what I
Hey
was
Creek,
saying.
hey Creek, Noble, everybody in the chat. I'm
Look
going to
into the
bed.
chat.
Welcome, Michael. Welcome as a new member. Y'all take it easy. I love y'all, and I'm out.